Okay, I'd like to officially welcome all of you to another one of our co-founder paid trainings. We are paying out $50 in PFG today. We spent some time discussing before I turn the recording on how important it is not to sell the PFG coin that you get, because if you do that, even if you sell a little bit of that PFG coin, what's going to happen is that'll bring to an end your paid training. Okay. Right? Why would you want to end your paid training when you can just keep collecting multiple times a week by coming to our trainings that we have going on, and also our opportunity meeting? You can come support that and get $50 for supporting that. So we even have opened up the time zone of UK, which bleeds all the way down into Africa. So we have that whole time zone. Another 3 paid trainings, including a French one on Sundays. So we're doing paid trainings, most days out of the week. Okay. And as a result, what this is doing is it's basically an exercise of giving. Okay. And you are the receivers of what's being given. And as a receiver, you want to do well with what we're offering, because we're not just offering you something that's got value today, we're offering you something that's appreciating in value shortly. And the idea is that in a short period of time, what you're collecting is actually going to be, having a value of, many multiples. Like in the case of PFG, probably one of the smallest multiples there, because it's already at 350,000 on its way to 4 million. And so that's, about 10 times, right? But if you take a look at, PFI, for example, at $2,000 and it's heading to a 500,000, that's got a multiple of 250 times, right? So for every dollar you're holding in PFI, it's worth $250 by holding on to it. When you sell it, you lose that 250 potential gain. Okay. And we need to understand how important it is that we don't sell our pool funding coins. Instead, we hold them, whether we bought them or we got them through training or some other means. Regardless of how we acquired the coin, we acquire the coins to allow them to appreciate in value. Now, we don't expect the value to hold at, the 500,000 on PFI, for example. We expect that to actually double. Got to mute somebody. We expect that to double and double and double again. I mean, at some point, PFI is going to be worth $10 million per PFI coin. Okay, so if you have something now that was acquired at the level of $2,000 and then later becomes worth $10 million, that's called appreciation. Okay. And this should be a reflection of what you are. Okay. What you are as a multidimensional being having a human experience in an earthly plane. Okay. You are filled with great potential, and believe it or not, anything is possible, because all limitations really are self-imposed. So by understanding equity, we're going to get a better understanding of how to live a prosperous and abundant life. Okay. Now, getting from where you're at to that stage of abundance is not something that's done necessarily in a day or two. Okay. It's something that does take time. But I believe that we've shortened the path as much as it possibly could be shortened by the things that we're doing, because we're leveraging everything. Okay. And to demonstrate the power of being able to borrow against cryptocurrencies such as ours, our pool funding coins, we have established our own micro lending platform called pmlcoin.app on the internet. And the intent is to also turn that into an app that you'll find on, the Apple Store and also the Google Play, store. But for now, it's a website. And from there, you could actually literally, 3 clicks make $50. Every day you can go in there and click, 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 and make $50. And that will be in getting PML coin. Now, PML coin, yes, you are allowed to sell them, but we ask you to be wise. Again, the PML coin is also appreciating in value. It is currently at about 190,000. It's had an all-time high of about 280,000. And our first target price for the PML coin is $1 million, and we'd like to get there much sooner than later. We don't want this to drag out a year to get to our price target. We'd like to get to our price target technically within a month, and we have the power to do it. We can actually do it, but we have to put our attention on reducing the amount of PML coins that are operating in liquidity to accelerate the speed at which we get to our price target. After we hit our price target, we want to start doing a little price stability at that point because we want to stabilize the price around $1 million. Okay. Just to show you what I'm talking about. Go take a look at the liquidity. Okay, so this is PML here. Currently, there are 416 holders of PML. Okay. And this is the first liquidity contract that pops up. It's now number 11. So we've done some good here because at one point it was up here at number 6. Now it's down here at number 11. So it's moving down. That's what we want. This number is now currently 2%. Okay. It's at 2%, 2.0. Okay. So that means that someone with $100 can probably knock that down to 1 point something percent instead of 2.0. And $1,000 can knock that down to, maybe 1.5%, something like that. And that's what we want. We want to see people buying into the PML coin and getting it. And as you buy the PML coin, it will appreciate in value. Okay. So the PML coin is really kind of like the exit strategy that's available now for people that want to turn some of their cryptocurrency into, cash paper money that they could use to, for their personal bills or whatever that might be. Okay. But we need to be gentle. So when I see things like this here, that's not being gentle. Okay. And another example of not being gentle is right there. Gentle looks more like something, see if I can find it. Like right here, you can see the selling was a lot more gentle right here. You guys, can you see that in the chart? The gentle selling taking place here? Okay. Compared to this right here, that wasn't gentle at all, right? And so pay attention to the chart and realize that you need to question your own desire to sell, because you sell something that's worth, $50 today, but could be worth $500 in a short time. That's not really benefiting you really, by selling it so cheap, right? If you don't need $50, why would you want to sell $50? If maybe your need might be $10, okay? Then you could gently sell $10 and it just wouldn't make that big of an impact on the price at all. We're not going to really notice it, and it's okay. Now, if you sell $10 of our pool funding coin, any one of these coins here, we're going to notice and we're going to take you off the list and you're not going to get paid training anymore. Okay. So realize the difference between our pool funding coin and the PML coin. Two different websites. Here's the PML website. Okay. And here's the pool funding website. Two different websites. But with the PML, okay, you have the ability to lend at $50 a unit your coins, and then they'll be picked up as offers by the borrowers. As you can see here, I've only got 2 left here. Okay. So I've got 2 open offers. I think I could probably add another one. Nope, I can't do it yet. Let me refresh it real quick. Maybe I can. Yes, I can. So I'll go ahead and create a new offer. Then I'll make 3 that way. So I'll have 3 open offers. Gotta wait for it to load. Okay. Confirm that. All right, so that's $50 being put out there as an offer for a borrower to pick up. And then the borrower should then choose to do whatever the wisest thing they can with that $50. And maybe they can turn right around and lend it. That'd be what we call double dipping. Okay. And we encourage double dipping. We think that double dipping is a good thing, double dip for twice the fun. I don't know why it's stuck. Okay, let's see here. Let's try this again. This Zoom thing's in my way. All right. So there we go. Here we go. Double dip for twice the fun. Okay. And when you're double dipping, you have the opportunity to access some free money as a borrower, but that still means you do have to make a payment, right? It's just that you're upfront not paying anything. After about 30 days, you're going to make a payment. And then 30 days after that, you're going to get all what you paid back, meaning that what you got on the front end, the $50 or whatever it might be, that would be free money. And then the second part of the double dip is to be a lender, where you're able to double money. So imagine taking $50 that you were given as free money, you use that to double it into $100. So now instead of $50, now you have $100. And it all started by getting free money. Okay, so that's the idea there. So we're leveraging time, about 2 months worth of time. Okay. All right. So for those of you that might be really new, because we've got 262 of you here listening to me now, I imagine some of you are very, very new. We're going to be sending you $50 worth of PFG. Do not take that PFG and sell it in the market. Otherwise, that will end your paid training. You will not be able to come back again and get another PFG that you can do the same. We're not looking to sell our pool funding coins, including our pool funding gold coin, which is our PFG coin. We're not looking to sell those coins. We're looking for you to hold them or to use them as collateral on our PML website. And then from there, you can get PML, which, yes, you can sell, but you want to sell it in a way that's gentle as we are approaching our price target. And then after we get price stability, then we're going to be able to allow people to make $500 sales, $1,000 sales as they wish, because we've established price stability. We don't have that right now. So this is why we need to be gentle until we create that. We're creating this together. Okay. And then later on, after we are more mature and all that, you'll be able to take our pool funding coins over to other platforms like Avi or whatever might be the case. There's like 100 of them out there. And where you can borrow against cryptocurrencies and we'll get listed with some of these other borrowing platforms where you could lend your coin, or not lend, but you could use your coin as collateral in like large quantities, like $1 million worth, for example, and actually borrow against $1 million of your coin and receive some paper money for that to do whatever you need, start a new business or whatever the case might be, why you need that much money. So there's a path here that we have for you. We've established a path for you to get started with us, experience a lot of generosity, okay, on the front end. And then knowing that we want you to be responsible and accountable for that generosity that you receive, and use it in such a way that doesn't bring any harm to yourself or to others in the community by prematurely selling it. Instead, holding it and accumulating it is the best idea. And I have a big announcement I want to make today, but I just want to show you one other thing here. Accumulate to what end? Accumulate to what end? Let me share my screen. So currently, if you have $1,500 of PML, you're currently at the max at the current system where you max out. You can lend out $1,500. You can get $3,000 a month. And maybe you start small. Maybe you start with $65 and build it up over a number of months, maybe 4 or 5 months, get it to the point where you've got $1,500 that you can lend every month after that. And then by that point, 6 months from now, hopefully everything works as planned, and we get to the point where we have strong price stability at that point. And if you need to take out $1,500 every month, you could at that point of price stability. Okay. All right. But the good news is this, guys, is that we are accelerating in the number of buyers coming in. We're about to launch a line of credit offer that's going to accelerate it even faster. And as a result, we're going to need more lenders. And so what we're going to do, at least in the beginning, is anyone that has $3,000 of PML coin, okay? Let me show you what I'm talking about. If you got $3,000 or more of PML coin, see, I've got 68,000 here, so that's over 3,000. So if you've got over $3,000 of PML coin, then that would qualify you, once we write the code for it, that would qualify you to do 2 loans per day instead of 1. That's the big announcement, guys. What do you think about that?
Amazing. That sounds so
Nice.
great.
Okay.
Yahoo!
Fantastic.
Sounds
So
good.
you have every reason in the world
So,
to accumulate and not to sell. Okay. So we don't want you selling PML coin. We don't want you to sell, obviously, the pool funding coins. We want you to stay, solid with our community. And we want you to get to a point where, imagine if all you had to do to just basically, have a good life was just come to the internet once a day and click, 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 and click, 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 and then you're done for the day. What if you could have a good life financially just by coming to the internet in less than a minute? Click, 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 and then you're done. And then that ended up being worth $3,000 a month coming in. Now, for most people around the world, that'd be great money. Okay, most people around the world, that's enough. That's enough to live quite well in most countries. Maybe you and your spouse are doing it. So instead of 3,000, it would be 6,000. Okay, there you go, 6,000. Both of you doing the same thing. And you can, of course, you still have plenty of time if you want or need a job, you could do that. You could do whatever you want with your time. Okay, maybe you find something more creative to do with your time if you have that kind of financial freedom. But understand, this is just a foundation. $3,000 a month can be a foundation that then you can build using pool funding as your main tool. You can build from there into millionaire status. Because ultimately we want you to cash flow $1 million a year by scaling up into our, up all the way up into our $1,000 pool, and have enough, personal referrals to the point where you got over $1 million a year coming in cash flow. And when you're using our website to do that, you're not impacting the price of our coins at all. Okay, so you're able to cash flow without the negative impact of a falling price by using our website. Okay, because it's off market. Whenever you do something on market, you're going to impact the price. Okay. And so, yes, we want you to buy on the market. That makes the price go up. But we don't want you to sell. We want you to really understand that selling is like the last resort. Okay. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, yeah, I have emergencies that come up. Well, you know what? Pool funding is not ready for some of your emergencies. Okay. Right at this stage, right now we're beginning of September 2025. You got someone that's landing in the hospital or something like that. That big emergency, a big financial situation going on for you there. Pool funding may not be the solution right now because it's just too early, right? You got to be able to understand that your individual emergency is not a justification for you to, just kind of like cash in everything you got so that you can handle your personal emergency, at the expense of the entire community. Just think about how your actions like that, with bringing the price down, would impact the entire community. Okay, thousands of people at this point, soon to be much more than that. No. See, this is why we want to reach price stability. We want to have some maturity before people start even thinking in terms of like thousands of dollars, selling out thousands of dollars of coins in a whack, 1 or 2 whacks, in the market. We're not ready for that right now. But down the road, yes, we can handle that later when we have price stability. The word stability should mean something to all of us. It should say to us, okay, all right, if I sell $1,000 and the price doesn't change that much, okay, then that must be price stability. You realize if you sell $1,000 right now in any of our coins, the price would it'd probably be like an 80 or 90% drop in the price. Okay, we're not ready for it right now. Okay, so if you have a large, financial emergency, whatever it might be, pool funding is not the answer for your current, right now emergencies that might come up. I get messages daily from you guys telling me about your personal crises and your personal emergencies. I get messages like that and my heart goes out to you. But we can only do what we can do. Okay, that's it. You know, look, I got situations too. You know, I got things I put off because I'm just waiting for the right time. Okay. So we all have to kind of look at it that way. Realize that if pool funding didn't exist, you would do something about that emergency some other way anyway, right? And that's how you got to look at it. Now that's clearly spoken about in our commitment. So let me go over the commitment real quick. We have all of you make a commitment when you join us. Okay. You go to the pool funding website. Take a look at the commitment. Okay. Right here. Pool funding commitment right there. And it spells out right here. And, it even addresses the point of having an emergency. You know what I'm saying? It talks about it here. Okay. Right there. Emergencies. Okay. Just remember, personal interests or emergencies are never more important than the collective well-being of pool funding and all of its members. Okay. You need to be a team player. You can't burden the team with your personal problems. If they're large, you got to deal with them some other way. Okay. At least at this point, that's true. Later on, not so true. But today, that's true. And I need everybody's perspective now that we're a lot of people getting paid training. That means collectively, the whole group that's listening to my voice right now, you have the power to decimate, destroy collectively together. If you all went in and took the $50 and immediately sold PFG, might not even be worth a few $100s by the time you all went and sold $50 of it. It's currently at $350,000 per coin. But because of the liquidity, the way it's structured, the idea is we want to get to our price targets quickly. So there's very, very low liquidity when it comes to, the number of PFG coins that are available and the amount of USDT to match it. Okay. And that's on purpose because it helps us get to our price target faster. But the downside to that is that it cuts both ways. Just like it can go up quickly, it can come down quickly. $50 can make the price come down. In fact, we had somebody yesterday that apparently they must be controlling 4 different accounts because they took the $50 that they got here. Okay. 4 of them. These were 4 verified people that were on the distribution list. They're not on the list anymore, but 4 people. They took their $50, they sent it to a wallet address that's unknown to us, and then that wallet sold $200. Must be someone with multiple accounts. Okay. So we traced it back because you can't lie to the blockchain. The blockchain records everything. Okay. So we traced it back to the source of where the coins came from. And it came from 4 different accounts. Okay. That we all took pictures of the people and blah, 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 and all that. They're verified. They agreed not to sell, all that. And yet they sold anyway. And now they're not getting paid training anymore. Just like that. Switch has been turned off. And they got some explaining to do if they have the courage to confront us and talk to us. Probably don't have the courage because it's probably someone with multiple accounts, and they know they're just being dishonest. Okay, but that's what we're watching out for. But they ended up making the price go down a little bit on PFG, but since the price is 350,000, it was able to absorb that shock somewhat. It didn't drive the price down $100,000 or anything like that, but it went down a little bit. But just realize that this is bad behavior. Okay, we're trying to be a good team, not a bad team. Okay, we're trying to do some good in the world, not bad things. And so, whatever the reason it was that a person needed $200, they basically sold out their future so that they can get $200 today. Now, to me, that's just foolish, mentally ill, poverty thinking. Okay. This is someone who's suffering from a mental disease, which if they keep on holding on to that mental disease, they will remain poor for the rest of their life. Okay. Realize poverty is a mental condition. Okay. You're poor because you're mentally ill. Okay. Realize that you change your mind, you can become wealthy. You grab a hold of something like pool funding and then take it and become wealthy. Right. But the people who only can short-term, see things only this far out. They only see things that far out. They can't see past it. Everything's now. Like, I got to have it now, right? And that mentality will keep you poor. Okay. It's very important that you understand that you need to have a vision for your own future and realize that this is the right place for you to build that future, because you can get to your $1 million dreams faster by being here with us than anywhere else. Okay, someone wanted to start AI Companion. I'm allowing it. Okay. All right. So I have another big announcement to make. Very, very exciting. And that is we're much closer now to rolling out our DD LLC, our double dip line of credit. Okay. So let me show you what's going to happen real soon. Okay. I'll give you kind of a heads up. Pretty soon you're going to have an option here. Okay, you see right here, you got a referral link right there. And okay, so this will take you, if you pass this referral link to someone, this is what they're going to see. Okay. All right. And this is great. Okay. This one's great. Okay. But now we're going to give you another option. Okay. For the line of credit. For the line of credit, you'll get a second one here. So you'll end up having two referral links to choose from, which one to give out to people. And when that pops up, something like this is going to show up. Let me find an example of it here. There we go. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
It's a tad blurry for me.
I can make it bigger like that. How's that? Is that better?
There we go.
Yep, much better. Thank you.
And say thank
So
you.
it's got this little 1-minute video for now at the bottom of it. I'll be making a new version to replace this video with a more clear version of what the line of credit's all about. You know what I'm saying? But this one talks about the double rebate guide. Okay. But it's only a short 1-minute video, and then it's got these register now buttons that you can click on, and it takes them right into a very quick, if you want to, a one-click registration process. They choose Google or whatever to register with. That's one way to go. But here's what it says: unlock $400 of digital money risk-free. Grab it while it lasts. Register now. Double dip promo shows the coins here. Get a $400 line of credit to access instant loans. We pay you to borrow money. What? Say that again. We pay you to borrow money. That's why we call it free money, right? We pay you to borrow money. As long as you complete your part of it, which you do have to make a payment, but it's just 30 days into the process, not at the beginning of the process. And then at that point, you'll get a rebate that, a month after that will just pay you back. So you end up coming out ahead. Literally, we're paying you to borrow money. Plus, we'll give you a business that takes very little time to operate. That's right, double dip for twice the fun. Register now. So, what do you guys think of this landing page here? What do you guys think of that?
That's pretty cool.
Pretty
Yeah,
nice,
that
right?
was good.
Awesome.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Great job.
That's
All
awesome.
right. So yeah,
Yes,
that's the
great
direction
job.
we're going, and we're basically letting people know that with our lending platform, our micro lending platform, it has the ability to lift people out of financial woe pretty quick. I mean, after a few months, you could be at $1,500 a month, maybe at $3,000 a month, coming in. And for a lot of people, that'd be enough to get them out of a financial woe. But for other people, they'd be rich. They'd be really rich in the country that they're in. I'm looking around here. Let me just ask Nancy. Nancy, are you available?
Yes, Kuya.
Okay, let's talk about the Philippines, Nancy. Since you're a Filipino citizen, you've been living in the Philippines your whole life, right?
Yes.
All right. Now you've seen a lot of people, a lot of your friends and whatnot. You know, they go and they work hard to get a job, whatever. They might work at an office or they might work at the mall. But pretty much these jobs, they kind of cap out. Most of them cap out around $10 a day, right?
Yes.
And these people work hard for that $10 a day. Would you agree?
Yeah, they're working 8 hours.
Now, if you look at that over a course of a month, that might be around $200 a month. And, you know, so you could say that hardworking Filipinos can survive on about $200 a month, for an adult working. You know, usually there's a lot of family involved, so families live together, right? So you might
Yes.
end up having 4 or 5 people making $200 a month per household, right? And that's
Yes.
what carries the household forward. But the individual is making about $200 a month, and that's considered, honorable and good and like hardworking and this is a good person, right?
Yes, that's true.
Right. Now, you and I both know that $200, that's not really that much money in the world. You know, you and I, we've left the country, we've gone to other places, we've gone to Hong Kong together, right?
Yeah.
We've gone to Indonesia together, right?
Yes.
We've gone to Malaysia together, right?
Yes.
So I think, you took you to Thailand too, right? So
Yeah.
we've had these family trips where, like you and 20 of us, we all get together and we fly around here in Asia and go have a good time together in these
Yes.
different countries. And like, if you can't do that on $200, can
Oh,
you?
no, you cannot.
Nah.
That's so impossible.
Financially impossible. But if everybody was making $1,500 a month in the household, then it is possible, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, how does a Filipino look at another Filipino if they've got $1,500 a month coming in income every month? How does one Filipino look at another Filipino making that much?
That's amazing. You can travel that 15,000 a month.
1,500, yeah.
1,500.
Yeah, we're talking dollars, right?
Yeah.
It ends up being about 80,000 pesos, right? Roughly
Yeah. Oh my God.
1,500.
1,000 pesos is it's a lot, especially if you're like your family is so small, you can travel.
That's right. Now, if we bump that up to $3,000 a month, okay, I think you'd be making more than a Filipino brain surgeon in a hospital here in the country. Okay, I think you can find out that to be true. Okay, believe it or not, the brain surgeons here in the Philippines don't make as much as they make in other countries. Okay, it's true. You know,
It's true.
it doesn't mean they're less qualified. It just means they're lower paid because of where they live. So imagine click, 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 and you do that every day, and you make $3,000 a month doing that on our lending platform, and you're making more than a brain surgeon in your country. Okay, wow. Okay, so I want you guys to realize the leverage we're putting together here. Okay, and it doesn't stop with $3,000 a month. It ends up being what would happen if you've got a Filipino millionaire in USD? Okay, so that would be what, about 55 million pesos per year? Is that about right, Nancy?
Yeah.
All right.
That's a lot.
You got so much money you're walking on water at that point, right?
Yeah,
So
you can travel everywhere.
yeah, like being a millionaire in dollars, but in the turn that into pesos. That's a lot of money. That's a lot more than the 3,000 a month. Okay, that's $90,000 a month. Okay. And that's, yeah. And unlike the US, if I were to stay at a 5-star hotel in the US, okay, and because I like that kind of lifestyle, by the way. I like the 5-star lifestyle. I mean, I could easily spend for on the low end, $2,000, $3,000 a night at a 5-star hotel in the United States. But I could stay in something even more luxurious than what I could find in the US here in Asia, all different parts of Asia. And I might spend $200 a night, $300 a night, maybe at the most $600 a night, for something that would blow away what you would get in the US, for $2,000 or $3,000 a night. Okay. So, five-star lifestyles is a lot less inexpensive here in Asia where I'm at. And that's probably true for most of the world. Okay. Things are all skewed, based on what each economy is doing. And the US is skewed on the high end. Everything costs so much more in the US. Those of you that are from the US know exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you pay way more for your fruits and your vegetables and whatever else you're eating. You pay way more for most things. Almost everything you're paying more for it. Certainly healthcare. Healthcare is outrageous in the US. Over here, an emergency room visit might be, $20 to $40 to go to an emergency room here and get looked at. Okay. You just walk in and take one breath over it in the US and you're going to spend much more than that, for an emergency room visit, right? As soon as they got your name and whatever, your insurance information, it's going to be a lot more. So these are the geo arbitrage differences between one economy and another. But the fact is that if everybody was a millionaire, regardless if you're in the US or not, okay, that's going to be a lot of money wherever you are in the world. And that's the goal here. My goal for you, if you're listening to my voice right now, and right now there's 270 here listening to my voice right now, my goal for you is to turn you into a millionaire in less than a year. Okay, so we're talking 2026 millionaires, all of you.
Wow.
But you've
Wow.
got to cooperate, right?
Thank you, sir.
We teach you what to
Yes, sir.
do, and then you do it. You come to pay training to get trained.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's it. And we'll get you step by step by step. Maybe get you to a point where, maybe we're helping you, get better pay than a $10 a day job. So fine. We get you to that point first, and then the next step would get you to the point where you got $1,500 a month coming in, and then $3,000 a month coming in. And then later on it grows from there. And then really there's no limitation on how much it can grow into. But we offer a path to financial well-being, abundance, prosperity. You're not going to find anything like it in the world. This is the best. Okay. So in order for this to really work, there's one element, there's one focal point, there's one thing we got to get good at. Okay. One thing. And that one thing is true for any success story in or outside of pool funding. It doesn't matter if we're talking about pool funding or a family, or we're talking about a business, or we're talking about a government, no matter what, one thing matters. And what is that? Growth. We must grow. Okay. We must grow. All right. And so I've demonstrated before, and I think I've got a chart here, what growth kind of looks like. Okay. Let me find it here. There it is. I found it way down here. Okay, even if we grow by 2 by 2 by 2, 2 people get 2 people get 2 people get 2 people, and so on. Look at the growth that can happen here. Okay, 2, 4, 8, 16, all the way down to 32,000. Okay, right now we're about 3,000 active members right now. We have about 11,000 users, but we know there's about 3,000 of you that are active. Okay, that's kind of where we're at right now. But if we grow by threes, 3 who get 3 who get 3 who get 3, then we'd be up here. Okay, we'd be right about here. And then look at the potential here of 14 million down here. Okay, 14 million. Wow. Okay. Now, if we take a look at 5 by 5, okay, 5 will get 5 will get 5. Okay, if I'm correct, this is 6 billion right here, and that's 30 billion. There isn't 30 billion people on the planet. Okay. So we're up here right now. Okay. And just look at the steps. You know, 5 will get 5 will get 5. Each one's a step. And how quickly we get to 1 billion people and be as big as Microsoft, not Microsoft, be as big as Facebook as far as our numbers are concerned. Okay. But it's all about growth. Okay. And growth comes like this. When people come in, they're going to be contributing. Okay. Maybe the small one comes in with, you know, $50 to $100 and they put that in. Okay. And that helps them get started. So they're making a little contribution. They're adding to the value of our coin. Okay. And then you've got other people that come in that might have more of a means, and they're like, okay, I want to make 1,500 right away. So I'm going to buy $1,500 of PML up front. And then that helps push the price up where we want it to be. And now they can make a loan every day, no problem. They do it every day, you know, and they can do it. And then before you know it, they're at 3,000, and then the switch flips on them. I'm going to have the programmer code this as soon as possible, by the way, where basically as soon as you have $3,000 of PML, then you're allowed to do up to 2 loans per day instead of just 1. You can lend out twice a day instead of once a day. And then, you know, that will help us have plenty of lending going on. And then the potential of that is, we're doubling. So basically that's $3,000 a month income at that point, okay, per person at that point. So some people are going to come in with more money, okay? Other people will want to be wells, right? So there's only a few spots, to take there. And they're going to come in with a lot more money, okay? And so these are the people contributing to the value of our coins, pushing the price of our coins up. If a bunch of people join, but all they do is take, they don't make a contribution, the price is not going to go up. Am I right?
Yes.
Yep, you're right.
It's true.
Correct.
Okay. But when people come in, if we just ask them to do what they can, $50, $100, do what you can, right? Do what you can, make a contribution. Then basically those people at the bottom that are working their way up to $1,500 a month, $3,000 a month, they're working their way up. They're not selling, right? They're going to be 4 or 5, 6 months out before they even begin to think about selling, right? The only people that should be thinking about selling are people that they already have $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 sitting in PML. They should be able to sell. Am I right? You understand?
Yes.
Because they've maxed out the system, so they're going to want to put the overage into something else, right? But a lot of people have this backwards. They like to look at this like there's like magic money here that you just join and you get money. Okay, that's oversimplifying what we're doing here. All right, it doesn't quite what you join and you're part of a system that does bring money together. Okay, you're part of a system, and as a result of that, you grow into the point where you're able to to take money out. Okay, and PML is the exit strategy at this point for now. Later, it will be something else like Aave, like I mentioned. We're limited to maybe taking out $1,500, $3,000 a month, but maybe in the future, you'll be able to take out $500,000 or $2 million, on these other platforms where you can use your pool funding coins as collateral on these other large platforms where they do, millions upon millions and billions of dollars of transactions, every year. And then that's our destination. That's only a year away. That's where we're going. So in the meantime, we need people to realize that when you come into pool funding, that you're going to play a role, and your role is to help the system as much as you can with your time, effort, and energy, whatever financial thing you can contribute, do that, right? And then from there, expand that to the point where you're at that, $1,500 or $3,000 a month. And then at that point, then think about selling some, but do so wisely, do so in a way that on the charts, what you're selling doesn't really even show up, right? Right. That's the thing. If you make a sell and you look at the chart and you can identify a big red candle and you did that, that's a bad thing. Not a good thing. That's a bad thing. Okay. You want to be the one that makes it a green candle, make it go up, not a red candle, make it go down. So but if we have lots of people buying, imagine as we grow, let's say 100 people a day came in and put $50 in. That would be $5,000 of money coming in every day. Okay. Well, what do we have right now? Let's take a look. Do we have $5,000 coming in on PML right now? I don't think so. Yeah, sorry, Zoom's in the way. Got to wait for it. Okay. Move that out of the way. Let's go here. According to this, in the last 24 hours, we've had $925 of volume, and that's both positive and negative volume. That's not just only upside volume. That's both up and down. Okay, you can probably take half of that and say, okay, that's maybe $500 of positive volume in the last 24 hours. Well, certainly that's not 100 people coming in and buying $50 worth of coin today. Okay, that would be 5,000 or 10,000 or something like that. Be much higher. Okay. See, only when we have a lot of growth happening and time passing. So growth plus time. Okay. So in other words, people come in and they can make as they come in, they're making a contribution, and then time is passing, usually months, right? Not years and not weeks, months. So before they start taking out. Okay, so they're contributing before they take out. Now, on our pool funding website, you can be cash flowing, on 2 referrals, $11 a day very easily. Okay, over there. But I'm not talking about that right now. What I'm talking about is PML right now. Before you go to sell PML coin, you got to think about what was your contribution to PML. Was it a positive contribution so far, or have you done nothing so far? Have you never purchased a penny of it yet, and then you want to sell it? How fair is that? That's not fair. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to look at it through the right lens. Like this is a system meant to help you, but don't do any damage to the system. Don't damage the system that's meant to help you. Okay, by trying to take something out of it before you even put anything in it, right? Do your contribution, let the time pass, let the multiplication work for you. 1 loan can turn into 2 loans, and 2 loans can turn into 4 loans, and 4 loans can turn into 8 loans. That takes a few months of time, but it started with 1 loan. Maybe you paid $50 out of your pocket to start that 1 loan. Great, good deal. That's awesome. Of course, with the paid training, we're kind of accelerating you a little bit, but we still want you to think about making a contribution, right? In other words, I've been living by a principle for many years now, and it has served me quite well. I live a happy life. How many of you are interested in a happy life? Who's interested in that?
Please.
Who wants to be happy?
Me.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Yes,
Me.
please.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the secret. Give more than you receive. That's how you get to a happy life.
Absolutely.
I feel great about myself every day because I know I'm giving more than I take. I give more than I take.
I
It
love that.
It makes me happy. Right?
Amen to that.
I don't need something out here to make me happy. I make me happy. Right? I make me happy because I give more than I take. Okay?
It's not what you get, it's what you give.
It feels so good to give, guys. It does. There's something godly about it. Okay? There's something divine, heavenly, angelic about it. Okay? And when you're giving, you feel it. It's wonderful. Okay. So be givers. Don't come at at Pool Funding or our PML website, lending website, like how can I grab, wrong way to look at it. You're gonna feel bad looking at it that way. You're gonna have it's gonna be bitter. Okay. Anybody who comes to grab, they're not gonna feel good. They're gonna feel bad because it's taking. Whenever you take more than you give, then you can feel it. It's even a bit devilish. You see what I'm saying? Right? We got the
Feels better to
opposites
give
working here,
than
right? The takers are like the devils, right? The givers are like the angels, right? Who do you want to be?
Right.
You want to be a devil or you want to be an angel? Who you tell me, right? How do you want to feel inside? Right? Do you want to feel good or you want to feel bad? Okay. The devil's the devil, but the devil's gonna deal with some guilt. The devil's gonna be dealing with some they know what they're doing is hurting, right? Yeah. So perspective, guys. So if we get the people to understand as we grow, that number one thing, growth. Okay, as we grow faster and faster, bigger and bigger, the mass quantity of new people is always much larger than the group ahead of them, right? The starters, right? The beginning point. That beginning point is a small group compared to the mass quantity of people that come in new and fresh underneath it. That the number underneath it should be always greater. We have here, 270 of you. If 270 of you just brought one person in today and say, hey, I found a way to get paid for listening to a guy talk for an hour, $50. What? Tell me more, right? So, there you go. Paid training, use that as a reason to get them to take a look at what we're doing. Okay. You have 1,000 ways to get people to take a look and take a look at what we're doing. Any one of them will work. Just get them here. Get them in front of me. Right? You guys feel different when you're around me, don't you? Here with me, there's a feeling, isn't there? Do you sense it? Do you feel it? Okay.
Yes.
Very motivating, Ace.
Thank you.
Inspiring. Yeah.
All right, because I'm tapped in. Okay. I've tapped in and I'm sharing that with you. Okay. I see the path. I have the vision. It's clear to me. And as you hang around me, it'll become clear to you. Okay. And I'm just telling you, I'm not trying to set myself up on a pedestal here. Okay. I'm as flawed and as, I mean, I am so human. Okay. You could ask Mary. I went to go see Mary in Hungary. She got to see the human version of Ace, because she found out that I'm as human as they come. Everything you think a human does, I do it. Okay. All of it. But guess what? We had a great time regardless of that because she's human too. And we were able to enjoy the time we had together while I was visiting her in Hungary, But the thing is, I'm not trying to tell you that I'm special in the sense that I'm better than any of you. What I'm trying to tell you is that I know what I am. And I'm here to remind you and wake you up and help you realize what you are. We're the same. Once you know what you are, you'll tap right in. Okay. And so if I can get you all tapped in and realize that it's about feeling good, that's the measuring stick. Okay. How do we measure all this? It's not the stacks of $100 bills in your bank account that's going to be the true measuring stick here. A much better measuring stick is how do you feel? Do you feel good? Are you happy? Do you have
I
something to
feel
look forward
good.
to? Are you got plenty to look forward to? You're full of life. Okay. Then you're tapped in. Okay. That's it. That's how you measure it. Okay. If you got something other than that going on, if you're overcome with fear or doubt or anxiety or you're feeling the pressures of the world upon your shoulders. If that's what you're dealing with, if that's what you're dealing with, you haven't overcome yourself, and you haven't tapped in. The only one you got to beat is yourself. You don't have to beat me. You don't have to beat anybody other than yourself. Once you do that, you'll tap in, and you realize that we're all in this together. And all for one, one for all. You know, kumbaya.
Looked at it. I don't know if we had any wrong papers.
All right, Jeffrey, you keep unmuting for some reason. Mute. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right, so someone wrote to me something here. I have to admit, Ace, you really make a difference in our lives. Okay, good. Well, I just want to give you the power to do the same and pass the torch to you, right? So I've got the torch lit. I light your torch, and then you go light other people's torches, and then boom, we're all lit up. We're all happy. It's divine, heavenly. It's a happy place for everyone. Okay. Yeah. So we have tools, we have opportunities, we have guides, we have instructions, we have help. We've got experts on the team that are there assisting us. So there's no way that we can fail. You can fail, but we're not going to fail. Because for you, it's a choice. You have to make the right choice. You have to choose what's best for you. Whatever that might be. Choose wisely. Either you have discernment or you don't. Either you can see the light or you can't. But if you can, you'll recognize it and realize that it's there to help you because you have a dream. You have a goal, and making that happen means a lot to you. And we want that to happen for you. Okay. So just quick question to all of you. Do we sell pool funding coins? Do we sell them?
No.
Nope.
No.
No.
No,
No.
It's a hell no.
Just
Okay.
hold, just hold.
I'm
No,
gonna,
no.
Absolutely not.
I'm going to ask you a trick question. Okay. Here's a tricky one. Can you sell PML coin?
At the moment,
No, right
no.
now.
No.
You
No.
can.
The boot.
It's not right at the moment.
Can, you have to choose
No.
not
Boot.
to.
Right now, no.
Okay. I love the way you're answering it, but if it was a yes or no question, the answer would be yes.
Yes. Honestly, sir, yes.
It would be yes, but. Okay.
There is a but.
Yes, but be careful because
Correct. Yes,
right
sir.
now it's a new thing. It's very fragile. Okay.
Yeah.
We're so close. We are so close to getting to our target of $1 million. Only after we hit the target do we start working on price stability. I do not want to establish price stability at $200,000. It's not high enough. Okay. I want to establish it at $1 million. Okay. So right now, yes, you can sell. Okay. But every time you sell, I've got people reporting to me, even if you sell $1, I get a report on it. A PML, let alone the pool funding coin. Okay. But with PML, we're watching you. And when someone sells a chunk of it off, like $100 or $200 at this stage, that shows up as a red candle on the chart, and then, don't be surprised, even though you only sold $100 or $200, I'm going to go find you on Telegram and say, what's up, man? How you doing? Everything okay over there? Why'd you sell $100 right now? We're kind of need to be gentle on the price. Why'd you do that? Right? Now, if you sold $10, probably not going to get a phone call from me, but if like 100 of you sold $10, I'll be like, what the heck is going on here? You see what I'm talking about here? But I'm going to intervene to remind those that are not being gentle to be more gentle. Okay. And if they're not reasonable, I can turn the switch off on them. Okay. I got power. So I'm looking for people that want to cooperate, right? So yes, you can sell PML, but please be gentle. If you don't need to sell it, don't. If you have a real true blue need and we can afford it, like your mother in the hospital, we can't afford that. I'm sorry. That's just too big of a bill. But hey, you need to buy some rice for the kids so they got something to eat today. Sure. Go sell $5 or $10 and buy your rice for your kids. I mean, that's reasonable. I get it. It's a real need. And it's small. And it's not going to hurt us that much that you sold $10. That you might be able to buy enough rice to last for a few days. So the next time you buy might be in a couple days later, But at some point, you won't need to do that because you'll have a couple of referrals and then you're using our other website to cash flow without impacting the price at all. That's the magic of growth. That's why growth is number one. That's the number one thing. It's the fastest way for you to create cash flow that's not going to hurt the community. Because when you use the pool funding website to cash flow, it doesn't impact the price of our coins at all. Okay? But until you get to that point, if you got no referrals and you're just kind of starting out with this, and maybe you do need to put some rice on the table for the kids, okay, fine. But hey, you go and tell me, hey, my mom's in the emergency, blah, 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 and I needed the money. I don't have any other source. I'm like, that's not building trust. So please don't sell again. And then the next day you sell again. Yeah, my mom needed that too. And I'm like, I'll just cut you off. Then you won't have anything left to sell anymore. Because I'm the source. I decide who to cut off and who not to cut off. Don't get yourself cut off by not recognizing that this is a team effort. And we got to set aside our personal emergencies, and look out for the well-being of the whole community, the whole team. Okay, we have to see it from those eyes. We can't be clouded by our personal situations. We all got personal situations. We all do. But we don't want to let that cloud us. Because what if pool funding wasn't here? What would you do in that case? Then that's probably the right answer. But however you would answer that. If pool funding wasn't here, what would you do? That's probably your better answer. Okay. Maybe more painful. But hey, it's better to experience a little bit of short-term pain and long-term gain than it is to have long-term pain and go decade after decade of a miserable, completely poverty life, where you're always down and out from the day you're born to the day you die. You just don't want that. That's long-term pain. I'm trying to get you out of the long-term pain. But yeah, occasionally because of your personal situations, you may experience some short-term pain because you're going to have to overlook what you can do. Maybe you can sell right now because the coins are in your wallet. You got the power. Okay. But you got to be responsible with that power. Okay. I'm sorry, I got someone unmuting here. Please stay muted. Okay, good. All right. All right, so I think we're very, very clear. We're super excited about rolling out the DD line of credit. We've made it very, very clear that growth is our number one concern, the number one thing we should focus on. If you're not thinking about sharing this with somebody, you haven't caught on to it's better to give than to receive. Pool funding is a wonderful thing to share, right? And if you're thinking, well, I'm not worthy, okay? Oh my God. I could write a book on that one. I'm not worthy. I don't have credibility. Nobody likes me. I smell bad, okay? My eyes are crossed, okay? I can't put two words together, okay? That's abuse of self. Okay, stop it. Stop abusing yourself and stop believing those lies. Okay? You are more than worthy. Honestly, if you just knew what you were, you'd realize how divine you are here. You are already divine. You just forgot. You need to know that you're divine. All of you. Every human being on the planet is divine. You take the most evil person, even they are divine. Believe it or not. Okay? When you come down to what are we? What are we? Who are we? Some of us play the hero, some of us play the villain, okay? The who is where it gets sticky, okay? But the what, we're all divine. We're all multidimensional beings having a human experience, and we're getting some great information by being here. And it's worth it, no matter what. So if you say I'm not worthy to share something like pool funding, I'm not capable of sharing something like pool funding or whatever, think about the excuse you're giving yourself, whatever that might be. Maybe you're just limiting yourself. And maybe sometimes you got to make a phone call and say, hello, God, are you there? Oh, hey, God, just wanted to check in with you real quick here and say, I don't think I can share this thing. I don't have anybody I know that would listen to me about this pool funding thing. So maybe you can make it easy for me and just plop somebody into my life accidentally or, somehow, just make it so obvious that just put somebody in front of me that I can talk to about pool funding. Just give me one person to talk to about pool funding. Just land them in my lap. Give them to me, please. You're all powerful. This is an easy task for you. I'm just asking. Can you do that for me? And then I'm sure God will say, yes. Okay? Of course he will, because you're divine. So is he. So, would you like me to share with you a personal experience of how powerful that is? Would you guys like to hear that?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a little personal here. Okay? But a long time ago in my life, I was what some of you might have seen as a Mormon missionary. You guys ever seen those guys around?
Yep.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
I'm not really I
Yes.
wouldn't call myself Mormon today. Okay. I haven't been in a church in years and I've kind of moved on, if you will. I have found greener pastures. So I found something better for me. I'll just put it that way. Okay. But anyway, there was a day I was in between companions. Notice how there's always two of them, right? Going around. There's not just one missionary walking around. There's always two of them, right? So I was in between companions. One was getting transferred. The other one was coming in. So I took that as an opportunity to go to God. And I said, hey, God, we didn't have a lot of, we didn't have a good thing going with the last companion. So now that I've got a new companion coming in, a fresh start, we need some families that we can teach, and we need some people that we can share the message with, and da 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 da. And I just said, same thing. You're all powerful. This is an easy one on you, and can you please make this happen? The very next day, me and my brand new companion were walking across a high school field, where they play soccer and all that at a high school. And this girl looks at me. She just looks me right in the eye. She's like a long ways away. She's like 50 yards away, but she looks me right in the eye. And I look at her, and then she starts walking, and she walks straight to me. Okay. I'm telling you, this is a true story. She walks straight to me, walks up to me, puts her hand out like this, and I grab her hand, and she says, hello, my name is Veronica, and I want to join your church. Okay, how do you explain that? Unless someone is listening on the other end of that call. How do you explain it? Does that mean the church is the right church? No. It just means that there's someone on the other end of that call. It doesn't matter which church you're talking about. He would have done that for any church, I think. He just did it for me because I asked. Asking you shall receive. So sometimes the limitations we're putting on ourselves is because we're not tapping into the divine. What we are. Somehow we want to just keep it all earthy. Why not elevate yourself out of that a little bit? You know, it doesn't matter if you're Buddhist, if you're Muslim, you're Hindu, I don't care what perspective you come. You don't have to, this isn't just a Christian thing. This connection to the divine, it's not only Christian, it's part of the human thing. Okay? I'm telling you, we would grow much faster if everybody would understand that one thing, that, hey, we could all ask for some help, because some of us have doubt about ourselves, not about me, not about pool funding, but really the doubt is the one, the mirror, looking at the mirror and go, I doubt the person in the mirror. Stop it. That's self-abuse. Maybe make a phone call and fix that. You'll feel much better. Trust me. My faith went from here to here after that experience, right? It increased my faith, which was a building block for who I became today. Okay, it was one of the building blocks of my 20s that was critical, that I had the experience. Okay, and that's not the only miracle story. I mean, I got a million of them. Okay, I could go on and on. I could do days talking about miracles. Okay, because I don't believe in miracles. I expect them. I'm way past belief. Belief is way back there. I'm in expectation. I expect to be able to change the world. I expect to get a message out globally. Okay? I expect to lift up people financially. I expect to get people to get out of the trap that I see what humanity is in right now. I expect it. And I live every day towards that. And you can join me on that. You can be a part of that, and it's good, and it's going to feel great. But you got to get yours, okay? Reach out, and if you don't have anybody to reach out to, then tap into the divine and ask for it. Say, just put a cashier, put a waitress, put an Uber driver, put somebody in front of me that I can tell them about pool funding. Okay, just put somebody in front of me that I could tell them about pool funding. Just one. And that's where you start. And it's like potato chips after that. You can't just have one. You know? Try to just eat one potato chip. It doesn't work. Okay? No. After you get a good feeling after having one, then you'll go get two. And you have the power. You have the power. You have the power. You do have the power. And you don't have to worry about what you're saying, right? Because it ain't what you say that matters, it's what you feel while you're saying it. It's the words that's backed up by feeling. That's the power. It's not the words themselves. There's no magic words per se. The magic is the feeling behind the words. And as long as you're in the feeling, it doesn't really matter what you say. People don't remember what you said. They just remember what they felt as you were saying it. Okay. And then they're going to feel it. And they're going to go, wow, thank you for the invitation. Right? And then you go from there. Some of you got to go dig up some old people that were part of pool funding before, that they got the roller coaster ride got a little too wild for them, and they hopped off. Maybe they're ready to hop back in now that things are a lot better. Talk to them, get them reinvigorated, get them back in the game. Okay, but we need that growth right now. Bring that growth in. This training today is a shout out for growth. We need you to help us grow. Not just some of you, all of you. Okay? I'm giving you $50 as an incentive, right? You're getting $50 of PFG which you then could take to, the PML website. When you get a pair of that, right, you get $100 of collateral. You can take that into the PML website and take out a loan, and then you get $50, and then with that $50 you can lend it back out, and then turn that $50 into $100. I mean, that's it. Just you have everything. There's not really. I've made this way too easy, okay? But your contribution matters. So don't come in thinking that you're excused from your contribution. Now, I know contributions come in many forms. Some people have contributed greatly when it comes to growth. Others have contributed greatly because they've reached into their pocket and they dug deep. I've got wells, frankly, they couldn't recruit themselves out of our a wet paper bag, you know what I'm saying? But they brought in thousands of dollars, and they've been a part of the backbone of the whole operation. Without them, we wouldn't be here. And I appreciate that too. That's a contribution. But always think about, what is your contribution? What can you give? And give it. Contribute. Help us make this thing bigger, better, stronger, faster. Any way that you possibly can. Okay? So that's my pitch to you to get today. We must grow. It's up to you. That's my pitch. I'll back you up more than you can ever believe. Giving you $50 for every training. I just recently came up with that one. Hey, it seems to be working. I mean, we went from like struggling for years. It felt like 30 or 40 people coming every training, right? And they were solid. They were just faithful. Now we've got hundreds of you coming to every training, soon to be thousands of you come to every training. And why? It's just $50 that you can't cash out. Why? Well, yeah, eventually that becomes worth something, and that $50 could be worth $500, and before you know it, you're able to borrow against it. That's the plan. Cash flow happens on the pool funding website. Okay, that's the cash flow, right? The PML website is do you have the experience of using coins as collateral to get cash? That's the point of that. Okay, is to at least have a taste of what it's like, of what is to come. So we got all the bases covered here. You just need to bring yours. Okay, I'm asking as sincerely and as lovingly and caring as I can. Bring yours. Yes, I need you. More importantly, we need you. Don't we? Do we need each other, guys? Am I right about that? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes,
Very much so.
Yes,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Time to grow. Now it's
I agree.
time. Everything's lining up perfectly. Now we can grow big, fast, strong. And then before you know it, price stability will set in. And yay, hooray, that day comes. We'll all be really pleased with the outcome at the level of price stability. And then we got economic development to follow after that with our marketplace that's coming. I got this whole plan. I just can't expel it all out every time we meet. It's just too big of a plan to fit it into an hour, or whatever this ends up being. But I do want to thank you for being here. And I think you're here for a reason. And I think it's a divine appointment. Yeah, I believe that. Why? Because I expect miracles. And the fact that you're here, to me, that's a miracle. Okay.
Thank you so much
Enough-
again, Sir
Enough
Ace.
said. You're welcome, Mary Rose.
Yes.
All right. Well, how about we end it here with a big I love you. Everybody's get unmuted and say I love you.
I love me.
We
I love you.
Love
you. God bless you
Amen.
more, Sir Ace.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
You always.
I love you, the whole
Thank you so much,
family.
sir.